Hello everyone, welcome to Court with Krissy. Today we have a court sentencing that involves a brawl over a bad burger review, but wait till you see who took the beatdown. Plus, bonus cameo appearances by a Boston Red Sox World Championship player. I hope you like it. Court with Krissy is now in session.
Town is here with Mr. Graff. So Mr. Town, the conviction here is assault and battery. There is a recommended delay of sentence from the prosecutor. Have you had the chance to review this pre-sentence report? Is it factually accurate, or are there changes, corrections, or additions to make to it?
Yeah, it appears accurate. I think that obviously each, not to condone the behavior of my client, I think each side obviously had different versions of the entire event, but we accept the facts that they are here. There are some updates, I guess, regarding personal issues for Mr. Town, which I'm not sure they would impact the court's decision today, but obviously if the probation department wants those updates, we can provide those, such as his hair. I mean, his health, it says fair. He has spinal stenosis, has 3 bulge discs, other things about, obviously he's not receiving any workman's comp at this point, his previous employment history, things like that. I think obviously he can correct those or update probation as the case unfolds.
Sure, okay. All right, very good. So by way of elocution, Mr. Graff, are there comments you'd like to make?
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, this is a situation which never should have happened. Obviously, whatever is going on between these two individuals that escalated at that point in time, and Mr. Town responded very inappropriately. Very simply, whatever version of events happened, you don't need to respond that way. You don't need to confront somebody. You don't need to push them. You don't need to argue. This could have been avoided on a number of different levels throughout the entire stage of the event. And I think Mr. Town understands that if he would have just simply waited, if he would have simply just been more polite, and obviously the way he addressed the parking situation, if he would have walked away, this wouldn't have all escalated the way it did. And I think he feels unfortunate about the circumstance. I think that the recommendations are appropriate here. I've read the victim impact statements, the 2 from Mr. Bergstrom. I've read those to Mr. Town. I think that the term of probation is going to be excellent. 1, to provide some peace of mind that there's not going to be any contact, whether it's through the internet, online, personal, or otherwise. He can have some semblance and peace of mind that this is going to end, it's going to end here. But also, more importantly, there's going to be some oversight. So if Mr. Town doesn't follow through some of these terms, there's going to be a consequence. It's probably going to be very significant. But also, more importantly, I think they're recommending some treatment or some anger management. I think that'd be important for Mr. Town, because again, we shouldn't be here. This shouldn't have escalated the way it did, and it did that. And so I think the educational program will also be important for Mr. Town, and hopefully they'll give, again, some peace of mind for Mr. Bergstrom that obviously he is addressing whatever underlying issues are present of why he reacted this way. And so I think that in a number of levels, it is a benefit for both individuals. I think we take a look at Mr. Town. He had no prior record until 2021. He still technically does not. Back in 2021, he successfully completed probation. I think that's indicative of what he'll do here. I think he will be successful. I think he'll follow through with the court's orders. And so I think overall, this is, again, this is just unfortunate that we're here. Mr. Town takes responsibility that he shouldn't have reacted the way he did. And I would ask the court to follow the recommendations. I think they're fair and appropriate. And again, I think to give each party a peace of mind. Obviously, if this isn't going to repeat itself and there's not going to be any further behavior or communication, and hopefully, obviously, Mr. Town has learned from this and will learn more from the anger management program and any other program in the court may order through probation.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Graff. So, Mr. Town, are there comments you'd like to make, sir? Why do you think this happened? I mean, this is a very strange assault and battery.
Well, I was told by the police officer that he went after me over a Facebook comment, that I said something about his restaurant, that, his burgers were nasty and I'd rather cook my own food. That's my exact words. And I said it on September 1st, and this happened on December 4th. So he held that anger in that long to finally catch me up and then do what he did. He parked his truck towards my truck, and, I couldn't get in my truck with my bulge disc. And, it wasn't easy when I did, let me tell you. But I mean, like I said, I made a mistake. I pushed him, but it was more out of fear because I thought he was going to grab me from behind, and I'm already dealing with a lot of pain. So like I said, I grabbed him first. That was my mistake. But this all got worse as I got outside because, he was near my wife, so I pushed him away from my wife, and that's when he grabbed my jacket, pulled it over my head, and punched me in the back of my head like 10 times. And then he fell, and that's when I got away from him.
Well, all right. I understand the victim is here, is that right?
I believe so, yes, Your Honor.
All right, so Mr. Bergstrom, do you want to speak? You don't have to, but if you want to, you can. Thank you. So come on up, sir. So you're Timothy Bergstrom, is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, what would you like me to know, sir?
Well, I would like to say that his version of events are very far-fetched. This is the first time I've ever even heard that he made a comment on Facebook. Since this happened, though, he's been very active on Facebook, and according to mutual friends, he's been boasting about how great it is to be "quote unquote" an asshole, and I think that in our community, that is not a attitude to have. It basically was a predecessor to his illegal actions against me. I'm a combat veteran. I warn people if they try to attack me. I didn't see anything wrong with me parking. I didn't realize that how I parked was an issue. In fact, I saw how he parked and I moved further away from him. So his version of events are just simply untrue. I have no idea about his medical condition. The video footage of the incident shows him coming at me 3 different times. He first attacks me in the gas station, unprovoked, screaming, using expletives against me. And that's where I warned him that I'm a combat veteran, that if he came at me again, he wouldn't like it. And I use expletives as well to address the issue. He ran outside, even more enraged, and was near my truck. I didn't know what frame of mind he was in. He was near my personal property. So I went out there to challenge that. I said, and I was calm. I said, look, I parked the way I did because of how you parked. And I went over to show him, and he came at me again because his wife said that I hit her, which wasn't true. She was determined that she was several feet away from me when I reviewed the video footage. He screamed at me, came at me again. I stepped back, he came at me a 3rd time, and that's when I felt that at this time he was not going to stop. The rage that I saw in his eyes, complete dilated pupils, like, you know, I've seen that before overseas when someone's going to try and do something. So I am quick to assess those things and trained to, and I wanted to make sure that he wasn't going to hurt me. So there's a reason why I'm here and he's there. It's not because I attacked him or I had intentions to attack him or was seeking a vengeance against him. He's playing victim. There is no victimization here whatsoever. Because of the chain of events, I don't think that probation is good enough. He needs to think about what he did. Certainly sitting in a jail cell will do that. I'm not saying like put him away for a long time. I'm a fair person. And I'm a forgiving person. I'm a nice guy. But certain things just need to happen to put people in check sometimes. And whatever might be going on with Mr. Town, I feel for him. I do. I pray about him. Pray to God about him every day. And I want him to do better with his life. But rehabilitation doesn't start
in the courtroom. It happens after the sentence. Okay. I can't stress enough that he was the one that attacked me. I did nothing to it. The Facebook post he's talking about, I have no idea that even existed. So last summer, we had a conversation. It was a civil conversation. He tried my food. All I said to him was, I'm sorry you didn't like it. It's not for everybody. That's all I said to him. We know each other from the past. I worked with his son, Ezra. Ezra's a great guy. And I really don't understand the sequence of events that took place. I was caught off guard on December 4th and attacked. All he had to do, if I had a problem with the way I parked, was ask me to move. Because I'm a trained person, because I'm a combat veteran, my thoughts when this happened, right after it happened, was, what if it was a person that couldn't defend themselves? I mean, what if he attacked somebody else because of how they parked, or some reason that he felt would be inflammatory? I don't know.
Okay. Well, I do appreciate those comments, and I appreciate your service in the military. Thank you for that. Sentencing is set up here briefly to provide resources and supervision to someone in Mr. Town's position, okay, and provide some treatment, so to speak, as is recommended here, anger management, to hopefully he benefits from anger management counseling and being on probation, so this doesn't happen in the future. Okay, so that's the purpose of probation. If there was a probation violation, if he didn't do something or committed another crime, then there'd be a probation violation, and he could see the maximum of 93 days here. Okay, but the recommendation is for probation. So I'm going to follow that. Okay, and going forward, maybe this will allow at some point in the future the two of you being able to communicate normally in the past and move on from this, hopefully. Okay, that's the purpose of the sentence here today, and to, of course, bring some accountability to Mr. Town. All right. Okay, I appreciate you being here, and again, thank you very much for your service, sir. Mr. Graff, then Mr. Town. So let's see, Mr. Town, is there? I don't want to get into the facts. I mean, there could have been a trial to determine those, but is there anything else you'd like to say?
You know, to be honest, I don't know Tim. I mean, just because I worked at Applebee's with him, I was in the back, he was a leader. I know this guy, you know, for someone to speak how he's spoken, pretty much hurt, because I'm not that guy, you know. Do we make mistakes? Yeah. And I'm gonna, you know, I'm here, that's why I'm here, to fix things, make things better, you know.
Okay, hopefully that's what you do. Mr. Graff, anything further?
I would concur with Mr. Bergstrom. There needs to be accountability. I think probation does that. Again, as the court noted, Mr. Bergstrom, these services are here to help Mr. Town. If he doesn't want to take advantage of these services, he could find himself sitting in a very long jail sentence. Oftentimes probation is a lot more work than going to jail, given if there's testing, there's compliance with the probation officer's orders, there's counseling, anger management, other things. And so obviously that's gonna be a lot of work on Mr. Town's part. And so I think that it's a good idea to give him that opportunity. But again, I think that the no contact order is going to give each party some semblance that there's not going to be any more of these. If there's posts, talk, whatever it may be, it's going to keep them separated, and obviously they can go their different ways and hopefully grow from this.
All right, thank you, Mr. Graff. So as recommended by probation, there'll be 365 days of probation with a delay of sentence. So $100 fine, $1,000 court costs, $75 crime victims fee, $50 state fee, $275 attorney fee. While on probation, you may not possess firearms or other weapons, not to behave in a violent, threatening, intimidating, harassing way toward anyone, be respectful of all court employees, service and care providers, 10, cooperate, complete, pay the fee of anger management counseling, follow all recommendations of the therapist there. Just I'm going to order discretionary drug tests, and that also means may not use or possess alcohol, legal drugs, controlled substances you don't have a script for, no mood or mind altering substances, no recreational marijuana, no contact directly or indirectly with Timothy Bergstrom, which means if you say something about him on Facebook or any other social media or his restaurant, probation will find out about it, and that'll be a probation violation. Not to go within 500 yards of Mr. Bergstrom's residence or workplace, 3 days community service work instead of further jail. I'm going to order 30 days jail in abeyance. So that's out there in case there's a probation violation. Just because of what I perceive to be just the unmitigated callousness of your actions. So, all right, so that's where we are. You'll have to call probation today between 1 and 3, Mr. Town, and they'll set up a short meeting with you to discuss these terms and answer any further questions you have, okay? All right, so thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.